My book, Power Smile, opens up the secrets of the sun and its importance in our daily lives through an uncommon story of Giri Bala. Power Smile, the secret of the sun through Giri Bala's story. Sujata Virde, PhD. Disclaimer: the information in this book is of general nature and is intended for educational purposes only. This information should not be used as a substitute for professional medical care for the prevention, diagnosis, or treatment of health problems. No content in this book, regardless of date, should ever be used as a substitute for direct medical advice from your doctor or other qualified clinician. We do not accept any liability to any person for the information or advice or use of such information or advice which is provided in this book or incorporated into it by reference. Copyright 2024. All form of matter is really light waves in motion. Albert Einstein. This book is indexed as Introduction, Chapter 1, Sun-Saint Yogini Bala, Chapter 2, The Grand Power Play, Chapter 3, Recap, Yogini Giri Bala, Chapter 4, Technical Stuff, and then Summarizing. Plants use light effectively. Why not humans? It is an intriguing story of Giri Bala, how she succeeded using only and only sunlight for 66 years to live until she left her body at age 78. Introduction. Trust me, I am a doctor. No longer has the credibility it once did, a doctor friend said to me the other day. This book is about the secrets the sun, your true friend, is sharing in the open. Using the language that you understand, that of science or of no science. The sun is the greatest of all the doctors known to humanity for the time immemorial. You will know some of the extreme secrets not discussed elsewhere. What do most people want in life? After their basic needs like food, clothing, and shelters are met, they want better sleep, better health, and better metabolism. What if you could get what you want, when you want it, and from whomever has it? In this book, I have tried to avoid scientific jargon words and made it as simple as possible. To follow the sun or to go in the sunshine, one doesn't need to understand its science, just need to believe it. You don't need a doctor's visit or consultation or prescription or pharmacy. You do need a little willpower, and that's it. For people who are science-minded, I don't disappoint. I have included a separate chapter discussing physics and the biological dynamics through some chemistry. Again, it is not in detail, just to give a feel for appreciation for the sun. I am not a medical doctor. I am educated in physics. I noticed that every information just boils down to a few simple things that are doable. The book starts with an extreme example of a saintly woman of the 1800s who lived her life up to her age 78. She did not eat food nor drank water. She lived only on the energy of sunlight. I have analyzed the possibility of it actually happening. It is an extreme example. However, it proves how potent is the sun for our well-being. The book is written for common people like most of us, and there are people in between. The book is for everyone in this humanity spectrum. It is interesting to note that if we choose, the sun is or can be a best friend to one and all. Why are we not friendly toward this amazing entity, the sun? There are 3 reasons. We don't love ourselves enough. That's 1. 2. We fear the sun. And 3. We are damn lazy. How do we overcome these? 1. Look at your body. We are very fortunate to have a body that is absolutely amazing. Amazing irrespective of whether it is fat or thin, dark or fair, tall or short, irrespective of your looks, culture, or a state of health. Our body is a complex machinery. It has thousands of switches that can be turned on by one single friend, the sun. Our body is absolutely lovable. Don't criticize it. Don't accept anyone criticizing your body. Our body is very precious because we will not get a second body. So, the first and the foremost thing to do is to cultivate a belief that is permanently ingrained and etched on your mind. It is that you have a beautiful, lovable body and that is irreplaceable. Second, love your body. You may ask how or why. You may have a reason that no one loves your body, no one loves you, or maybe you have lost a purpose in life. Or you may have your reasons and doubts. Those are not included here because every life is a unique story. Not disrespecting your experiences, I want to tell you that you have one friend, the sun, who loves you. The sun loves your body, mind, spirit. This is one singular entity that does not discriminate or judge you. Allow this friend in your life. The touch of its 1,000 loving, healing hands that reach every corner of your body, mind, and soul actually switch on the 1,000 switches instantly, creating an amazing orchestra, a symphony of your well being. You should be meeting this friend every single day of your life because you love your body. How should you meet this friend? With a power smile. Third, we are constantly manipulated by society, the family or friends, virtual worlds like media or messages, advertisers, now even AI, mostly for their benefits. They put fears about the sun in our minds. In reality, there cannot be and will not be any other best friend in your life other than the sun. The sun has all the 20 qualities that a best friend has. The sun is supportive, loyal, honest, empathic, respectful, trustworthy, non judgmental, dependable, generous, good listener, with a sense of humor, patient, encouraging, having common interests, flexible, having positive attitude, keeps your secrets, low maintenance, sincere, and able to have deep conversations. You may wonder about a few of the qualities mentioned above. However, if you think a little deeply, you know that every word is true. The sun is your friend, and there is nothing to fear about the sun. However, it is important to remember the sun is your friend and not your parent or spouse or a child. Spend some happy moments with it. Fourth, the last point, we are damn lazy to change our lives for the better. By lazy, I mean our excuses. All these excuses can be quashed. If there is a will, there is always a way. We must understand the blocks of the mind and take action. Sun is a friend, not your parent, spouse, or a child. Spend only a limited friendly time. Some of the actions may just be very simple, like buying a pair of goggles, buying a good night dress, buying a jacket or shoes, maybe a cane or a wheelchair, or you talk to a friend. Say no to unwanted demands from people. You can create a sun-loving group, create a community, invite people to join you in your sun journey. If you have a sunny place, offer it to friends and neighbors. Anything, small or big, that you think of that bothers you to set your foot outside your home in the direct sunlight. Create a solution and not an excuse. Finally, please set out to meet your friend the sun. Create a solution and not an excuse. How much time with this friend? I don't want to keep you in suspense. Even if you don't want to read further, you still get a gist of the message. If you read further, you will get an interesting information that you have never come across. I insist that you read the book completely. Our biology is set up to work in partnership with the sun, to put your well being back on track and then keep it on the track. 1. You need to spend 30 seconds to a few minutes at around 7 or 7:30 am in the morning outside, looking at the blue sky, acknowledging the sun's presence but not directly at the sun. This is by Andrew Huberman. He says this sets your sleep cycle right. 2. You then spend about 10 minutes in the direct sun during the afternoon from 10 am to 3 pm. Only your face and arms are exposed to the direct sunlight. This mainly sets your vitamin D levels alright. Apart from vitamin D, many other things happen simultaneously in your body. 1,000 switches are turned on. 3. You can always spend more time in the sun if your time and your skin permits. 4. You should never look directly at the sun anytime. Protect your eyes and lips and don't expose soft parts of your body. Don't burn your skin. 5. If you have a very sensitive skin or a pre-existing condition, go in the sun a couple of minutes at a time. Wear dark goggles. Go in the sun intermittently. 6. If your geographic location is in the northern or southern latitudes beyond 40 degrees, you may think of using artificial sunlight simulation. There are UV, IR simulating lights, visible daylight simulations, and many other products continuously coming in the market. However, they don't replace the natural sunlight. So use them, but whenever you get the opportunity, go in the direct sunshine. 7. There are other geographic locations that demand your physical safety. Take care of it as required in the situation. Setting your life back on track is truly this simple. Just few days into this routine and you are tremendously rewarded with all levels of well-being in the body, mind and spirit. This is a lifelong friendship with the sun. Recovery is not only possible, it is inevitable. What do you have to give in return? This friend is rich and generous. Maybe you can give a gratitude in return with a power smile. In India, there is a ritual about the sun. People offer a little water to the sun. It is an act of showing a symbolic gratitude. In India, everything is made into a ritual to make it mandatory to follow. Even if you don't appreciate the science of the sun, you follow the ritual and go in the sunshine. There is always a science behind the rituals. Think how happy the sun feels to see you. Imagine a life bigger and better than you could ever dream of. Chapter 1. Sun-Saint Yogini Bala. It was a cold winter day in Purulia in West Bengal in India. Giri Bala, a little girl of 12 years and 4 months, a face of rare peace and innocent poise, went on a sun diet in 1880. Food lover that she was accused of consuming more food and always being hungry. As a girl child, she was married at an early age, as was customary in the culture during those days. She was expected to be more controlled in her basic needs, especially food. Hurt by constant criticism for wanting to eat food, Giri Bala prayed to God to help her cease her hunger. That is how the story goes, as told by Giri Bala herself. She did receive help from the Almighty and met a guru who taught her to live only using sunlight. He introduced her to our everyday friend, the sun. There were a few yogic kriyas she was taught by her gurus. There she goes. She did not eat any food and did not drink water or fluid for the next 66 years. She lived up to a ripe age of 78, totally disease-free and with an active life. Her simple charm and quiet smile portrayed her innate gift of power smile at the sun. This is an extraordinary story, a true story without any exaggeration. The autobiography of the yogi, a book by Paramhamsa Yogananda, has a complete chapter on Yogini Giri Bala. Mr. Richard Wright has also written about Giri Bala in his memoirs. He drove Paramhamsa Yogananda in a Fiat car to Purulia. It was the year 1935. Giri Bala then was 66 years of age. Man is spirit. By divine advancement, he can gradually learn to live by the eternal light and not by food. Sun-Saint Yogini Bala. Is it possible to live for over 6 decades without food and water? How did she do it? Can anyone do it? Can everyone do it? Should you do it? Is it that simple? Do you need certain spiritual practices? I will scientifically answer all these questions in the following chapters. Yes, scientifically. Giri Bala is not alone. There are thousands, if not millions, living on this very planet, a quiet life dedicated to the sun. They are kind of self-realized masters. They remain unknown to the world and they die alone. They are averse to any publicity and mostly avoid public appearances. They use the sun's power to charge their bodies and minds. They get all the nutrients and vitamins and hormones which we talk about so casually only by being in the sunlight. There is a perfect science behind the possibility of living without food and water. There is a conscious grand power play of the sun rays with their wonderful bodies. Albeit their complete trust in the sun, their spiritual practices like yoga, pranayama and kriyas all contribute to their well-being without food and by just being in the sunlight. The story of Giri Bala is a compelling narrative. Her power smile with the sun challenges our reluctant minds globally to question our equation with the sun and to take responsibility for our well-being. A dose of raw, refreshing, honest truth of smiling with our ever best friend the sun that is sorely lacking today. Prahlad Jani. Prahlad Jani is another yogi of Breatharian school who could carry out daily activities without food or water. Like Giri Bala, he too went on a sun diet at the age of 11. He was born in 1929 and went on a sun diet in 1940. He recently died in May 2020. It means he lived only on the energy of sunlight for 80 years. Lots of investigation on his sun regimen took place. It was a rare case study. However, if you investigate a yogi who defied the natural laws known to you and me, with our minds closed to the possibility, can we call it an investigation? Investigation by a world revolving around 3 meals a day. With our minds firmly believing that nothing is beyond our knowledge, we call it science. It is not an investigation. It is an arrogance. We always try to investigate within the limitations of our beliefs. The urge of such investigation is to prove how it is not possible, rather than accepting that it may be possible and finding out the scientific reasons for this possibility, although it is a rare 1 in a billion occurrences. Our investigations are to get kudos and attention and appreciation from the society, which itself is so limited in their needs and love for food. Their world revolves around 3 meals a day. The investigators are known too well by the world revolving around 3 meals a day. The tendency of the investigators' weak minds and our mediocre institutionalized support to them is an unfortunate part of our lives. On the other hand, fortunately, these great beings like Yogini Giri Bala and Yogi Prahlad Jani are not bothered by the society and its acceptance. They are deeply rooted in their spiritual practices and their firm beliefs that they don't need food and water to survive and that sunlight alone is their source of energy. They have set an example by defying the common logic. It is up to us to believe or not, they don't care. Therese Neumann. In the Western world, Therese Neumann was a German Catholic mystic known to have stayed without food from 1923 until her death in 1962. Theresa Newman had consumed no food since 1923 nor had drunk any water from 1926 until her death in 1962 without any weight loss or dehydration during the period. Nicholas Waterflue, also the saint of Switzerland. Nicholas Waterflue is known to have lived for 19 years without food or drink. A farmer, military leader, member of the assembly, counselor, judge, and mystic. He was respected as a man of complete moral integrity. He is known for having fasted for over 20 years. Currently living Sun Yogi. Born Uma Shankar in 1967 in Midnapur, West Bengal, he developed an early interest in yoga and religion. He is a Calcutta University graduate with a diploma in electronics. Initially, he started skipping breakfast. 6 months later, he stopped having dinner. From August 17, 1996, Sun Yogi stopped eating and sleeping altogether. Yet, his weight remained the same and he continued his daily routine without feeling tired or exhausted or noticing any health problems. He does not need to sleep. Limiting food is a common practice, though particularly when there is no greater sustenance than an enlightened mind. There are a large number of examples unknown to us. We just have to open our minds to possibilities. Chapter 2: The Grand Power Play. We live on a planet where we are gifted with a dynamic, dominant ball of fire in the sky, a blazing beauty of vibrant energy, the sun. The sun is the center of our solar system, non-stop giving out its riches. It is the time to make the sun the center of your life. The grandiose sunrise is different every day. The sun rays are beautifully detailed and the sunscape is simply stunning. Sunscape is amazing from any particular point. As you can see, the sun rises as well as sunsets. There is the essential protection of the ozone layer already in place. If the sun is particularly harsh, limit your time with it. Western medicine helps us how not to die. Eastern medicine teaches us how to live. Sun has been demonized as an evil monster to be protected from. The fanatics even go to an extent of warning against any sunshine to touch our body. The studies prove that not only is the sun not the evil monster everyone perceives it to be, but it is a friend everybody must have. Sun's sustaining, dependable, nourishing, warming rays are alone enough for us to survive and thrive. The symbol of all creative power and cosmic intelligence, the sun rises and sets around us every day. The otherwise bright sun appears gentle, tranquil, and radiant at sunrise and sunsets. Politics of the sun. However, sunlight is not a profit-making industry. You can't bottle it up and sell it. You cannot get a sunlight capsule to gobble it up conveniently at the comfort of your home. So the sun is of no interest to the politicians and business world. The politicians control the sun by deliberately polluting our minds against the sun. They don't need to be interested in your well-being. Sunscreen products are readily available in the private market. The real fact is, it has increased the cancer rates in dark-skinned people. We must take our control back in our hands by learning to engineer our bodies through the natural sunlight. Understanding sun. There is a solar spectrum here. Now your friend, the sun, has all the energies and the frequencies you need for your complete well-being. Most of us are familiar with a few words related to the sun, like UV, the ultraviolet, and its association with vitamin D. Also, the colors in the rainbow, Vibgyor, violet, indigo, blue, green, yellow, orange, red. That's a central part of the sun spectrum called visible sun rays. And finally, the IR or infrared. Physicists talk about the sun in a language of wavelength, that is color, energy, and intensity, number of sun rays or number of photons. At midday, the sunlight is 3% ultraviolet, 44% visible, and the remaining 53% infrared. The percentage values may slightly differ depending upon how you measure it. Ultraviolet or UV light in the sun. Good news about vitamin D. On average, the half-life of the vitamin D is about 2 or 3 weeks. However, complete elimination can take several months. As most people are aware that the ultraviolet or UV sun rays play a key role in providing vitamin D. Having sufficient vitamin D is important. UV rays are only 3% of the total sunlight. In that, the actual vitamin D forming sun rays, UVB, are very less in number. So, what's the magic here? The magic is the UVB part of UV rays exactly has the right energy to enter the top layer, epidermis of the skin, where the lipid or cholesterol molecules are present. There the magic happens. UV has 3 separate parts. One is UVC or UV part C. UVC has a wavelength 180 to 280 nanometer. This part does not reach Earth. UVC rays are stopped by the ozone layer around the Earth, and it is good for us. Its contribution to our well-being is 0%. So let us ignore UVC. If the ozone layer is depleted due to climate change, UVC will turn out to be very harmful. 2. UVB or UV part B. UVB is typically a small and important part of the sunlight. UVB has a wavelength 280 to 320 nanometers. It is 5% of the total UV. It means 5% of 3% of the total sunlight. UVB reaches Earth. This UVB makes vitamin D3 in the topmost layer of your skin. It uses your own cholesterol for this. UVB plays a significant role in our well-being. The scientific details are in chapter 4. Vitamin D is actually not a vitamin, but it is a hormone. It is extremely essential for health, and only tiny amounts are required. For convenience, we will call this hormone as vitamin D. Vitamin D was discovered in 1920 to cure rickets, a painful childhood bone disease. But solving the problem of rickets was only the beginning of research into vitamin D and its role in other aspects of health. Unlike other vitamins, vitamin D is the only vitamin that is directly produced in human body. It means you don't get it from food except fish and egg yolks. Even then, your body has to do its own magic to use it in its active form. What happens when UVB rays hit our body? It is a 3-step process. First, the high energy, high frequency UVB sun rays travel from the sun at high speed and fall on your skin. They are stopped in the top layer of the skin called epidermis. They cannot travel very deep into the skin, so they give away their energy in the epidermis of the skin. In the epidermis layer, UVB rays meet the cholesterol and convert it into intermittent vitamin D. The skin's role ends there. In the second step, this intermittent vitamin D travels to the liver and again converts into a second intermittent form of vitamin D. In the third step, this vitamin D goes into your kidneys, and there the final and usable active vitamin D3, which is 1,25-OH2D, is formed. This ready-to-use vitamin D is then taken to the various parts and organs of the body by the blood circulation. There are vitamin D receptors everywhere in the body and in all the organs. They quickly receive an active form of vitamin D3 and improve your innate immune system almost immediately. All this process is quite quick, although the reactions go on for the entire day or more, even if you are in the afternoon sun for just 10 minutes. The vitamin D work goes on for hours. This improves your metabolism. You see, your cholesterol is mobilized, your liver, kidney, heart, circulatory systems are used, and the final product, active vitamin D3, that is so good for the entire body, is absorbed by every part of the body. The whole body is busy and happy. What more? For getting sufficient vitamin D from the sun, you don't need any lab test, doctor's consultation, or a prescription or a pharmacy nearby. This is a simplified explanation. Go in the sun. How much time in the sun for this vitamin D? For best vitamin D production, how much time do you need to spend in the direct sunlight? Assuming only your face and arms are exposed, you just need 10 plus minutes of your time in the sun between 10 am and 3 pm. Depending upon your skin color, age, obesity, and geographic location, it varies from 10 minutes to 25 minutes. That is all you need every day for a healthy body from your friend, the sun. Take it happily. Put a happy power smile on your face and just be grateful and say thanks. Vitamin D deficiency is the main problem with almost any health issue. Nowadays, doctors start with checking your vitamin D levels. People living north or south to the 40 degrees latitude line cannot get enough UVB in winter to do this trick. Most doctors recommend getting vitamin D orally. What happens if you spend more time in the sun? Nothing harmful. That's the beauty. Your body is intelligent. It makes only essential vitamin D for use and also for some storage. It is such a friendly exchange with the sun. Like the other fat-soluble vitamins, vitamin D is stored in the body's adipose or fat tissues. That means your body can mobilize its own reserves if your daily intake falters temporarily. Can vitamin D be toxic? Not from the sun. It takes massive oral vitamin D overdosing to produce toxicity. Most experts agree that levels of 25 OHD below 20 nanogram per milliliters reflect clear-cut vitamin D inadequacy, while levels between 20 and 30 nanogram per milliliter are borderline. On the upper side, vitamin D levels below 100 nanogram per milliliter are considered safe. Above 100 nanogram per milliliter is toxic. Vitamin D toxicity. Vitamin D toxicity is a rare but potentially serious condition that usually occurs when you have excessive amounts of vitamin D orally, not by diet or by sun exposure. That is because your body regulates the amount of vitamin D produced by sun exposure. Fortified foods don't contain large amounts of vitamin D. The main consequence of vitamin D toxicity is a buildup of calcium in your blood, which can cause nausea and vomiting, or weakness and frequent urination. Some people are more prone to the symptoms. Do you get skin cancer? No, you don't. Many people have a fear of the fatal form of skin cancer, malignant melanoma, if they expose themselves to the sunlight. This is basically because of the systematic manipulation of our thinking. It keeps people away from the sunlight. In reality, the fact that melanoma is related to sunlight exposure is absolutely overstated. If it was true, every construction worker, every outside game player, every homeless person, every street animal, every bird would have got skin cancer. Have you noticed? Athletes, sportspersons, construction laborers are continuously working under the sun and are the healthiest people around. They are under the midday sun for 5 to 6 hours every day. They do not use sunscreen creams or do not overly protect themselves from the sun. Politicians, doctors often have to compromise when it comes to sunshine. Most politicians promise blue skies, while most doctors turn out to be a sunscreen advocates. That is why vitamin D deficiencies are shockingly so common. Numbers can never tell the whole story, but in this case, deficiencies add up to a wide range of health concerns. Doctors often talk in contradictory or paradoxical ways. They agree with the contribution of vitamin D in health, but they disagree about the benefits and optimal usage of the supplements. Some precautions about the sun. I like to remind the sun is your friend, not a spouse or a child or a parent. Spend your time wisely. Protect eyes, lips, and soft tissues. If you have sensitive skin, go in the sun intermittently. Don't tan, don't burn your skin. Headache. There are a few people who get headaches from being in the sun. This could be an indirect interaction as the photoreceptors in the eyes perceive the brightness of the sun, causing the headache. If this happens to you, you are advised to wear dark glasses or sunglasses before embarking in the sun. Estimating the numbers. How many UVB sun rays do you get on your skin in 10 minutes? It is an interesting mathematical calculation. I have one chapter for the technical minded people separately. Others don't need to juggle their minds. However, it is a mind blowing number. Hundreds of billions UVB rays fall on your skin in 10 minutes. Skin is an organized matrix of intercellular lipids or cholesterol, sometimes called the bricks in mortar structure. 13% of body's cholesterol can be used for vitamin D formation. There are about 2.72 into 10 to the power 19 photons, that is sun rays or UVB, carrying the energy 5.15 kilocalories per square meter in 1 second. You can see how large the number is. This is just to have an idea. This is an approximate number. Vitamin D is not one chemical but many. It is absolutely essential to know that UVB helps treat many diseases by producing vitamin D. Tuberculosis, psoriasis, acne, boils, diaper rash, eczema. It lowers the blood cholesterol levels, decreases your risk of breast, colon, prostate, and 17 other types of cancers. It increases your melatonin output at night and enhances sleep, slows down the aging processes, osteoporosis, keeps your bones healthy, heart disease, depression, overactive immune system, multiple sclerosis, healthy looking complexion or smooth skin. Vitamin D is the starting point for good bodily functions. The main requirement is to have enough vitamin D. Without enough vitamin D, you are quite compromised. Some people have other complications. Without enough vitamin D, the intestines cannot efficiently absorb calcium. For some people, because blood calcium is critical for neuromuscular and cardiac functions, the body does not allow the levels to fall. Instead, it pours out parathyroid hormone which mobilizes calcium from bone, which is not a good thing. Blood calcium levels remain normal, so your heart and nerves keep working nicely, but your bones bear the brunt. As bone calcium density falls, bones become weak and fracture prone. It's a delicate balance. Prostate cancer. Some men mistakenly dismiss osteoporosis as a women's disease, but fail to recognize the importance of vitamin D in prostate cancer. Vitamin D does much more. Apart from the intestines, many other body's tissues contain vitamin D receptors. These are the proteins that bind to vitamin D. A number of factors can play a role. Limited or no exposure to the sunlight heads the list. Sunlight vitamin D dose. How long you should expose yourself to the sunlight depends upon your skin type, your location, that is latitude, the season, your age, and your obesity factor. Continuous midday sun exposure. White skin, 5 to 7 minutes of arm and face sun exposure. White and obese, it goes to 10 to 15 minutes. Older than 50, minimum 10 minutes up to 30 minutes. Darker skin tones, 12 to 15 minutes of arm and face exposure. Darker and obese, 25 to 30 minutes. Sooner or later, there will be an introduction of legal rights to sunlight. UVA, that is UV part A. UVA has a wavelength of 320 to 400 nanometers. UVA rays make up 95% of all the UV rays that reach the Earth's surface. It means 95% of 3% of the total sunlight, or approximately 2.8% of sun energy reaching you. It contains 15.2 into 10 to the power 19 photons and carry 24.07 kilocalories per square meter. UVA penetrates a little deeper into the skin. It reaches the dermis level of the skin, crossing the epidermis layer. These ultraviolet rays in the sunshine act as natural antiseptic. These rays can kill viruses, bacteria, yeast, fungi, and mites in the air, in water, and in your skin. A definite plus is that it gives you a healthy looking complexion. It will make your skin smooth with a healthy glow. Overexposure to UVA may create fast skin aging. However, the sun has other rays in the visible part of the sunlight that can nullify this aging process. The visible part of sunlight. Violet rays. Violet color wavelength is 400 to 425 nanometers. This color aids in maintaining potassium concentration gradients in the body. Specific high frequency radiation of this color inhibit tumor groups. Uncontrolled appetite is controlled by this color. It has analgesic properties. It facilitates the prevention of skin diseases. It helps in curing malaria. It is used in the treatment of sinusitis. The color contains 22.4 into 10 to the power 19 photons and carries 30.95 kilocalories of energy per square meter. Beneficial effects of violet color: inflammation, pain management, wound healing, skin conditions, mood disorders, circadian dysfunction, emotional imbalance, improving blood pressure and circulation, relaxation, easing the symptoms of conjunctivitis, effective in treatment of earaches, wart, myopia, assisting with the effects of menopause. Indigo color rays. Second, indigo wavelength is 425 to 450 nanometers. This color is good for chromatographic purification of the RBC, that is red blood corpuscles. The color relaxes and slows down the neuromuscular, cardiovascular, lymphatic systems. Indigo contributes approximately 23.8 into 10 to the power 19 photons and carries 30.95 kilocalorie energy per square meter. Blue color rays. Blue wavelength is 450 to 500 nanometers. It increases metabolic reaction rates and aids in wound healing. The color offers soothing effects on the mind and support awakening of the subtle intellect. Blue contributes to 52 into 10 to the power 19 photons and carries 62 kilocalories of energy per square meter. Green color rays. Green wavelength is 500 to 560 nanometers. It aids in expansion of the arteries. It is helpful in stress management. More importantly, this color is found to activate energy supply to the cerebrum. Green contains 70 into 10 to the power 19 photons and carries 74.8 kilocalorie energy per square meter. Yellow color rays. Yellow wavelength is 560 to 600 nanometers. It helps in the motor mechanism of the body, useful in stimulating the muscles, upkeep of the digestive function, has antacid effects, and improves general increase in intelligence and alacrity. Yellow light also has soothing effects and lowers the appearance of dark spots, inflammation, and swelling. It can significantly reduce wrinkles and fine lines as well as the effects of UV radiation damage. Yellow contains 51 into 10 to the power 19 photons and carry 49.87 kilocalories per square meter. Orange color rays. Orange wavelength is 600 to 640 nanometers. This color offers resistance against infections. It is used in healing of stiffness and spasms. It strengthens the lungs, spleens, and pancreas. It increases the pulse rate but maintains normal blood pressure. This color is found to boost smoothing emotions and induce enthusiasm. The orange color rays in the sunlight reduce skin redness and irritation as well as increase collagen production for healthier and more vibrant skin. Orange color contains 53 into 10 to the power 19 photons and carries 49.87 kilocalorie energy per square meter. 7. Red color rays. Red wavelength is 640 to 700 nanometers. Red rays in the sunshine stimulate neurons, the adrenal, endocrine glands, and sensory nerves. Red enhances circulation. This primary color induces subtle effects in governing functions of the brain and the nervous system. It contains 88 into 10 to the power 19 photons and carries 74.8 kilocalorie energy per square meter. Red is followed by near infrared and the far infrared rays. The IR or infrared part. Here we come to yet another type of rays that make major part of the sunlight. The IR. 54% of the sunlight is made up of infrared rays. Infrared wavelength range is very wide, 700 to 2000 nanometers or more. Infrared is invisible to the eyes. Infrared helps in improving blood circulation, strengthens the cardiovascular system, eases joint pain and stiffness, burns calories and controls weight, relaxes muscles, increases flexibility. It deeply cleanses the skin, removes toxins and mineral wastes, improves the immune system, reduces stress and fatigue, activates water molecules in our body, improves oxygen level in our body. It is warming, it eliminates fats, chemicals from the blood. It smoothens the blood flow, reduces the acidic level in our body, promotes expansion of the capillaries, reduces the risk of strokes and heart attacks. The IR rays can penetrate up to 4 to 10 centimeters or about 2 to 4 inches in our bodies from all the sides. Excite vibrational energy molecules, promotes bioprocesses. IR contains 118 into 10 to the power 20 photons and carry 481 kilocalorie of energy per square meter. Chapter 3. Recap Yogini Giri Bala. We are becoming quite familiar with the word of mindful practices in many areas of life, like mindful breathing, mindful eating, mindful action, mindful of thoughts, mindful of our behaviors, ego, our judgments, fears, etc. How about becoming mindful about the sun? Is there a possibility that a human being can procure necessary nutrients and energy directly from the sun energy and get rid of the need to eat or drink water? How about becoming mindful about the sun's energy in different wavelengths of colors? How about becoming mindful about the sun rays reaching at different depths of our body? How about becoming scientifically mindful about the sun rays interacting with our bodies? How about mindfully absorbing that energy? How about mindfully grateful about the sun? How about being mindful that you need much less energy as the energy is not wasted? When mindful breathing gives you positive results, mindful yoga gives you good health, mindful eating gives you healthy body, mindful energy from the sun can be a terrific possibility. Extreme examples like sun yogis don't need food and don't need waste removal. Waste is simply not created in their bodies. Sun yogis are mindful about the sun. I am too small to write about Yogini Giri Bala. She was deeply rooted in her spiritual practices. Her unshakable belief in God and the sun, her kriyas and pranayama rituals, and her highly self realized soul powers. Sun Yogini Giri Bala lived up to 78 years, totally disease free and as an active human being. That time, women in India lived a busy life outdoors. After going on a sun diet at a very young age of 12, she did not eat food nor drank water for next 66 years. She did not need to use the washroom and did not need to remove waste from her body as the waste was not accumulated. She was peaceful as a monk and happy as a child. She has set an example. If one needs to find out how she succeeded in doing it, one has to first start with a belief that it is possible, not discard the possibility. Discarding anything is easier, as you are not answerable for discarding. On the other hand, if you have to prove something that is possible, you have to work against the popular belief of everyone. According to physics, it is possible. We will explore this. According to biology, too, it is possible. Energy can neither be created nor destroyed. It can only change forms. The conservation of energy is an absolute law in physics. Although we need the right systems in place to watch it happen. This scientific data is in the next technical chapter in this book. The details that are worked out remain within the scope of this book. Just a bare minimum science to make a point about physics, energy, biology, and the nutrients. However, the purpose of this book is not to make sun yogis but to create a sun friendly mindset. The purpose of this book is to make us take action and meet the sun every day, going under the sky, and do this consciously with understanding how, why, and what happens when you are with the sun. Let us look at this table. Sun's energy that falls on our body has sun rays or photons from wavelengths UVB to IR. How many sun rays do you get from the sun? This is how you count your photons in the sun spectrum. It is good to note that the number of photons that our body receives is thousands of trillions photons. UVB is 2.72 into 10 to the power 19 photons. UVA is 15.2 into 10 to the power 19 photons. Violet is 22.4 into 10 to the power 19 photons. Indigo is 23.8 into 10 to the power 19 photons. Blue is 52 into 10 to the power 19. Green is 70 into 10 to the power 19. Yellow is 51 into 10 to the power 19 photons. Orange is 55 into 10 to the power 19. Red is 88 into 10 to the power 19 photons. IR is 1187.0 into 10 to the power 19 photons. And total photons between 280 to 2100 nanometers is 1567 into 10 to the power 19 or 1.567 into 10 to the power 22. All the other calculations done for calculating the number of photons elsewhere are done for solar panels for electrical energy generation. They did not account for the IR rays as IR does not contribute to generating electric power. Most of them used yellow light wavelengths for their calculations. So the number here is one order higher than the other available numbers. Things are very different for human bodies. Our bodies use the entire sun spectrum including the infrared. Infrared has 54% of the total photons. Now let us look at other interesting number. How much energy our body receives when only our hands and faces are exposed to the sunlight. The table contains all the details. The UVC contributes nothing. UVB 1.032 kilocalories, UVA 4.81 kilocalories, violet 6.19, indigo 6.19 kilocalories, blue 12.38, green 14.96 kilocalories, yellow 9.97, orange 9.97, red 14.96, IR 97.0, and the total just by exposing face and arms is 174 kilocalories per hour on our body. Awesome! This is awesome. It suddenly feels like a possibility when you see 174 kilocalories coming to you in 1 hour when you are in the direct sunlight. Isn't it interesting that we get thousands of trillion photons from the sun every second we stand in the sunlight directly under the sky? Isn't it amazing that we receive about 174 kilocalories of energy from the sun in 1 hour with just our arms and face exposed? What a giant gift, you see. The actual number will be much more than 174 kilocalories because the IR rays travel through your clothes. These calculations can give you goosebumps. It already proves that sun saints are receiving enough energy from the sun to live long lives. The calculations are approximate, but it gives you a feel. Human bodies are like giant photocells. If managed well, they are capable of converting solar energy power for all their daily needs. So, around 175 kilocalories or more is what you get on your body in 1 hour by only exposing your arms and face on a bright sunny day in the afternoon. Every sun ray has a purpose as it enters into our bodies. Until the sun rays are stopped by our cells, tissues, bones, nerves, the sun rays keep traveling at a high speed. The sun's energy is continuous from UV to IR spectrum. The body too has continuous cells, tissues, bone, muscles throughout. The least that can happen is the sunlight maintains our optimal health. Giri Bala, as an Indian girl, did receive good sunlight throughout the year. Even on very cloudy and rainy days, you still get a good amount of IR, infrared light from the sun. If you are in a shade too, you get infrared light. IR travels much deeper in your body and soothes your muscles, tissues and bones and your nerves. The IR shakes the molecules, sometimes changes the chemistry in your body. It creates heat and cures pain and revitalizes the body. General understanding is that we need about 1500 to 2000 kilocalories a day as our energy needs from food. 70% of this is converted to waste and is eliminated by different means. It means 30% is used as pure energy and the nutrients by the body. If there is no wastage, the actual energy needs of the body could be just about 500 to 700 kilocalories. This could happen if directly absorbable energy is available. It means 3 to 4 hours of sunlight. I'm just playing with the numbers. This information is sufficient to provoke the thinking towards the plausibility of Giri Bala's sun diet. It is physics. Both the sun's and body's intelligence plays a role. We explore biology in the next chapter. The sun rays impart their energy to the cells. The photons keep traveling until stopped. The UVB rays are stopped in the epidermis where they start the production process of vitamin D. The UVA rays reach to the dermis and sometimes they damage the skin tissues. The violet and orange rays nullify the damage. The red rays reach a little deeper and infrared much deeper. The sunshine thus is a complete package. The body's normal width is about 11 inches. The sun rays can reach almost everywhere. from brain neurons to stomach muscles to the bones. Not only in the human body, it happens in all living or non-living things. However, we are focusing on the human body and here a special case of a sun sent on a sun diet. The difference for yogis, though, as they can control these sun rays reactions in their bodies with their spiritual practices. There are special spiritual practices that must be learnt only from a guru. It is like this. Silicon, the element that used in getting solar power, is found in practically all rocks as well as in sand, clays and soils as silica or silicates. But to convert it into usable form as a solar cell, it has to be crystallized. There is a process of crystallization. Same is true with our bodies. The process for the human bodies may be known only to the spiritual practitioners of Kriya Yoga, asanas and pranayam. On the other hand, we common people do not know it. Therefore, we should not try to become a sun yogi or follow only sun diet. In real life situations, we are all benefited by the sun. We absolutely are. We can derive the benefits and also enjoy our life and food with all the senses. Answering the questions in chapter 1. Is it possible to live over 6 decades without food and water? Yes. How did she do it? The explanation is above. Can anyone do it? With certain spiritual practices learned from a guru? Yes, anyone can do it. Can everyone do it? No. Should you do it? Not necessary. You can have benefits of sunlight and still enjoy your food. Is it that simple? Yes, only with changes in lifestyle and beliefs. Or do you need any certain spiritual practices? Yes, I don't know what they could be. Chapter 4. Technical stuff. When I was about 6, I was given a magnifying glass. I used it to pinpoint the light photons from the sun at an innocent ant. The ant quickly shriveled up and died. The ant found out the hard way that light exists. I am sorry, Mr. Ant. Physics stuff. The photons and the energy counting process is as follows. Use the irradiance versus wavelength graph to get average value in all different wavelength ranges, for example UVB, violet, green, etc. Get the approximate wavelength range like UVB 280 to 320 nanometers, IR say 700 to 2100 nanometers. Multiplying 1 and 2 gives you watt per meter square. This is the power value of the sun's incoming radiation. Convert it to joules, the energy unit. Convert joule into kilocalories as a known energy unit. E or energy is equal to NH nu, or it is NHC by lambda. So N is equal to E divided by H nu. This gives you the number of photons or sun rays in a particular range. Add all these numbers to get total photons and total energy from the photons. There are total 1.567 into 10 to the power 22 photons per square meter per second. There is total incoming energy of 870 kilocalories per meter square per hour. There is 174 kilocalories per hour sun energy on the exposed skin of arms and face that is directly absorbable. The sun spectrum is a continuous spectrum from ultraviolet to infrared and the visible rays in between. There is no clear demarcation of these regions. Biology stuff. Essential nutrients are crucial in supporting good health. These essential nutrients are divided into 2 categories, micronutrients and macronutrients. Micronutrients are nutrients that a person needs in small doses. Macronutrients consist of vitamins and minerals. Macronutrients, on the other hand, are nutrients that a person needs in larger amounts. Macronutrients include water, protein, carbohydrates. Sunlight mobilizes the nutrients. It's a medicine, a remedy, all at once. Fat soluble vitamins are vitamin A, D, vitamin E, and vitamin K. Water soluble vitamins are vitamin B1, that is thiamine, vitamin B12, cyanocobalamin, vitamin B6, vitamin B2 is riboflavin, vitamin B5 pantothenic acid, vitamin B3 niacin, vitamin B9 folate or folic acid, vitamin B7 biotin, and vitamin C. Major minerals are magnesium, calcium, phosphorus, sulfur, sodium, potassium, chloride. Trace minerals. Trace minerals are iron, selenium, zinc, manganese, chromium, copper, iodine, fluoride, molybdenum. UVB rays. Wavelength 280 to 320 nanometers. UVB is almost completely absorbed by the epidermis, the topmost layer of the skin. It hardly reaches the dermis, the layer below epidermis. It reaches up to 50 micrometer depth under the skin. UVB is directly absorbed by DNA, which causes molecular rearrangements. Even though UVB photons are less in number, almost all of them are utilized. However, darker skin melanin pigments scatter part of UVB. During exposure to sunlight, 7-dehydrocholesterol in the skin absorbs UVB radiation and is converted to pre-vitamin D3. UVB breaks the B ring of the cholesterol structure to form pre-D3. Further metabolism of vitamin D3 to its major circulating form 25-OHD and hormonal form 1,25-OH2D takes place in the liver and kidney respectively, but also in other tissues. Vitamin D's best known role is to keep bones healthy by increasing the intestinal absorption of calcium. 2. Many of the body's tissues contain vitamin D receptors or VDRs, proteins that bind to vitamin D. Many other organs, from the prostate to heart, blood vessels, muscles, and endocrine glands, have vitamin D receptors. As a byproduct of interaction with receptors, water molecules are produced. This is important. Water is created in the body itself. Vitamin D is the cause for many good things happening in the body and in the mind, and it is also called happiness vitamin. Albert Einstein was convinced of the importance. He said, "I believe we all dance to a mysterious tune intoned by a photon, the magic photon." UVA rays, wavelength 320 to 400 nanometers. They reach up to a depth of hundreds of micrometers to the dermis levels. UVB and UVA rays are both used in the form of light therapy called phototherapy. Phototherapy can benefit serious cases of rickets, psoriasis, scleroderma, eczema, vitiligo. Excess UVA exposure can cause skin damage and aging. UVA induces the formation of photoexcited states of the skin and subsequent generation of reactive oxygen species ROS, free radicals, and other toxic skin photooxidative stress. Vigor spectrum, wavelength 400 to 700 nanometers. These rays reach up to 0.25 to 1.5 millimeters under the skin. The rays can scatter and get back reflected. Visible light spectrum is mostly useful for eyes. The energies are less than UV energies. However, at the depths below dermis level, the visible part of the sunlight does many good things like rejuvenating and soothing. Visible rays in the sunshine play a role regulating hormones and sleep patterns by affecting the melatonin circadian rhythm. Melatonin is a hormone produced in the pineal gland from the chemical melanin. Melanin is produced in the skin through sun exposure. Melatonin helps with inducing sleep. The morning routine of 30 seconds to a few minutes looking at the blue sky gets the circadian rhythm and sleep cycle according to Andrew Huberman. The cortisol and melatonin has inverse relationship, which is good for the circadian rhythm. People can see flashes of about just 30 photons. Such a less number and only 3 of these photons actually make it to the retina on average. What it means that for the circadian rhythm, even smaller light should be avoided at nights. IR or the infrared. Red wavelengths 700 nanometers. Near infrared wavelengths are 700 to 1000 nanometers. Far infrared are 1000 to 2000 nanometers or more. Or infrared has a wide spectrum and the rays that can penetrate deeper into the tissues, reaching muscles, joints, or even internal organs, up to 10 centimeters inside the body from all the sides. Their penetration depth varies, ranging from a mere 1 millimeter to a significant 100 millimeter. They also contribute to the largest number of photons. The IR shakes up molecules inside tissues, muscles, etc., thereby increasing the metabolism. The benefits of IR remain for hours. IR can penetrate through clothes, any clothes. These rays scatter the least. Increasing evidence suggests that IR can carry out photostimulation and photobiomodulation effects, particularly benefiting neural stimulation, wound healing, and cancer treatment. Nerve cells respond particularly well to IR. It helps in neural stimulation and regeneration. According to Rayleigh's scattering law, the amount of scattering of the light is inversely proportional to the fourth power of wavelength 1 divided by lambda to the power 4. There are industrialized lights of particular wavelengths gaining popularity. It may be a viable alternative. However, the sun provides us a continuous spectrum of all wavelengths in the right dose in short time. The research has still not understood the depth of all the biological and chemical dynamics of the photons. This is because it does not happen in isolation. Everything is happening so simultaneously that all 1000 switches turn magically on to start the grand power play. Biophotons. On the bright target, I wanted to go overboard about biophotons. Biophotons are being absorbed and emitted from all living organisms all the time. The quantity and quality of these biophotons in your body is determined by the quality of what you eat and drink, not to mention about the sunlight. Less sun means less biophotons. Neurons in the human brain produce photons. The addition of massive quantities of biophotons on our diet can fundamentally improve our health and vitality in profound ways. Water. Apart from food, the next immediate question in our minds is what about our body's need for water? A food for thought. We are talking about yoginis and yogis and not about us. They have specific mechanisms unknown to us. Their bodies metabolize everything very differently. Let us look at the possibilities. The air contains 4% water. There are pranayamas known to most of us like Shitali, Sitkari, etc. that actually cools the body and curbs hunger. Again, yogis have few of the far more effective kriyas and pranayamas that are unknown to me. Even if an ordinary man does a Shitali pranayama, he can see it for himself that the body generates water, maybe a few drops that can be felt in the throat. Another important part is that all carbohydrates, proteins and vitamin D molecules contain very large amount of hydroxyl or OH groups and can join together in the metabolic processes and form water molecules H2O. Vitamin D3 alone can produce about 50 to 100 milliliter water in a few hours of sun exposure. For a better picture, a few general images of carbohydrates, proteins and vitamin D are included here. You can see the hydroxyl molecules. Now summarizing, Mr. Richard Wright replied to Paramhamsa Yogananda, "Sir, the Westerners are a skeptical lot. We can't expect them to believe in the lady without any pictures of hers." Wright has recorded in his travel diary on 5th May 1936. "But you do eat something?" Paramhamsa's tone held a note of remonstrance. "Of course," Giri Bala smiled in swift understanding. Your nourishment derives from the finer energies of the air and the sunlight, and from the cosmic power which recharges your body through the medulla oblongata. I am the humble servant of all, she added quaintly. I love to cook and feed people. A strange pastime, I thought, for a non eating saint, Paramhamsa Yogananda. So, see you all tomorrow for coffee with photons. End of the book.